So welcome everybody. Today's session is about how to travel overseas with your degree. My name is Mel. I am with La Trobe Abroad and I will be your host for this session. And I've actually got some personal experience too, but we'll get into that in a moment. First up, I'd just like to do an acknowledgement of country. La Trobe University acknowledges that the land on which La Trobe Abroad team is located is on the land of many traditional custodians in Australia. We recognise their ongoing connection to the land and value their unique contribution to the university and wider Australian society. We pay our respects to Indigenous elders, past, present and emerging, and extend this respect to any Indigenous participants joining us online today. So a quick overview of today's presentation. I admit it is a little bit of a lengthy one, and that is because we do go in depth into all of what La Trobe Abroad offers. So we'll start with the benefits of studying overseas. We'll go through the experience of a lifetime, and I'll chat a little bit about my own personal experience. We'll answer some questions about where can I go, because that is a pressing one. What can I study? What type of programs there are? Can you afford it? The Global Lounge resources where you can access everything you need. We'll chat about the La Trobe Abroad LMS module, and then at the end we will have how you can connect with us. Okay, so the benefits of studying overseas, there are multiple benefits, obviously personal, educational and professional. Personally, I love to travel anyway. So for me, it was a no-brainer to go overseas, but you really get to immerse yourself in another culture and you're more than just a tourist passing through. So it's a really great experience that way. Educationally, one of the things that I love about studying overseas is that you can actually choose subjects that aren't even offered at La Trobe or in Australia. So for example, if you're doing international relations or law, you could go to Europe and study something on the EU, and it might not be anything that we have here. So there are those benefits. Professionally, you do set your resume apart. It is great to have international experience on your resume. And for me, it actually helped me get this job. So, I definitely see the benefits professionally. And it is truly an experience of a lifetime. So during my degree, I was a student in Bendigo from 2017 to 2019 doing a Bachelor of Business, and I majored in Management and Marketing. So in 2018, in semester 2 or the fall semester, I went to America and did my semester exchange at Appalachian State University in North Carolina. Really, really cute little uni town. It was really amazing. I love the football, like tailgating, and the football games are kind of what you expect to see from when you watch TV. They are passionate about it. I also then did a 2-week overseas short program in my final year, and I went to Japan, studied at Seisen University for 2 weeks and got to experience Tokyo and study cross-cultural communication and global citizenship. So a little bit more about those. Here are some photos from my experiences, and I chose America personally because it was my opportunity to really live in America and get to see what it's like on a university campus or college campus over there, and if it's like what we see in the movies, and it kind of is. It was really amazing, and I absolutely love Halloween. So that was a no-brainer to go to America. I even went to Dollywood, which is Dolly Parton's theme park over in Tennessee during Halloween, and went to her Illuminates. So there's some really cool events throughout the year in America. And for Japan, I mean, who doesn't love Japan? The quirkiness of it, the food, the culture, the history. It was fantastic. 2 weeks it was kind of like a holiday with a little bit of study thrown in. And I ended up getting a subject done during my winter break that I didn't then have to do in semester 2. So, really, really great experiences there. If anyone has any questions about my personal experience, I'm happy to answer them when we get to the Q&A. I could talk about it all day, but we shall move on. We have a lot to get through. So where can I go? Realistically, anywhere you want. We have over 120 partners across the world, and I have a map on the next slide that'll show you exactly where. But one of the things is you've got to make sure that where you study will offer the subjects a fit in your study plan. And we really recommend that you save your electives. It's one of those things, it's easier to find matching subjects abroad when you have elective spots to fill. If you don't have that many electives, don't panic. We can still try and match your course, but you will then have to find a partner that will offer an equivalent. So the map I was speaking about is here. So we have partners all across the world. Yes, we do even have a partner in Africa. We don't have a lot there, but we do have a partnership with a company called ISEP, and I'll explain a little bit more later, but then they also have opportunities in Africa. So we can get you almost anywhere in the world, just depends on where you want to go. Can you go? Yeah, look, absolutely. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, I'm a mature age student and I did not feel out of place doing these programs. If you are time poor and you can't actually travel, we have short programs instead of a full semester length. But look, we'll make it work for anybody that we can. You know, we want to make sure that everyone gets this opportunity. So what can you study? Again, it will depend on your study plan and the course you're doing. I have to admit, Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Business are some of the luckiest students there are because they're very flexible study plans. Our health sciences are a little bit more restricted, but there are still plenty of opportunities. If you do have any electives, please save them. Your study plan is not as rigid as you might think. There is potential to move subjects around. Again, depends on your actual degree. But speaking of study plans, usually you'll find it in the course handbook, or you might be able to ask your course coordinator. It does look a little bit like this with the grids. Obviously the electives, if you can move them all into one semester, then you have free reign of what you want to do at a partner, as long as you still meet the requirements. Like for example, like a third year elective, you will need to find an equivalent third year subject at a host university. And it may need to fit within your discipline. So again, this is something you need to check your study plan for what it tells you you need to find. But yeah, I completely rearranged my own study plan to go to make sure I had elective spots. I think I had one core subject that I did while I was overseas as well. So we have a great video on how to rearrange your study plan, and you'll find that on our semester exchange webpage. So if you want to take a look, just a short 13-minute video, and it'll give you some more information on this. So now we'll move into the types of programs that we offer. First up, we have semester exchange, then our overseas short programs, and I'll explain a little bit about the International Student Exchange Program, or ISEP, as we like to call it. So full semester exchange, this is where you'll go overseas for either 1 or 2 semesters in your La Trobe degree, and you'll spend that at a partner university anywhere you would like. Now, with the semester exchange, don't think that if you want to go for a full year, you have to go to the same host for the whole year. You can actually mix it up. If you wanted to go to America for 1 semester and then the UK for a 2nd semester, that's completely possible. Or if you really want to immerse yourself in a culture, or you have family living overseas and you want to spend time with, you're welcome to actually spend, you know, a full 12 months studying in one country. Really good way to get to know the locals and immerse yourself for sure. When you're on a semester exchange, you will continue paying your La Trobe tuition fees as you do now. And then when you come back from your exchange, you'll get credit for those subjects that you studied overseas. But no, you actually do have to pass them to be credited back into your La Trobe degree. So eligibility requirements, realistically, anyone from 2nd year onwards is eligible. We just ask that you have finished 120 credit points in your current degree. Your WAM is 65 or more. We do have some partners that will specify their weighted average mark to be maybe 70% or 75% or higher. So that is something that will let you know when you are looking into partners. Obviously, you have to be enrolled at La Trobe before, during, and after. And when you're overseas, you do need to study the equivalent of a full-time load. Now, the equivalent for La Trobe is 45 credits, or roughly 3 subjects a semester. So you can go overseas if, and again, it does depend on visa requirements as well. Some countries you will have to study the 4 subjects or 60 La Trobe credits. But some countries you might be able to get away with just the 45, giving you a little bit more time to really enjoy yourself. So how to apply? Well, first step is you're here. So attending an information session is your first step to find out what we have and how to go about it. The second step is to understand your study plan. We have touched on this already. It is really important that you know what subjects you would have to study when you go overseas. And if you have cores, then we will have to try and, you will have to try and match them with a partner. Step 3 is once you know what you have to study, then you can start picking your universities. And the reason you need your study plan first, again, is to know if you have to match core subjects. We ask you to research and choose 3 host universities that will fit with your study plan. We can't always guarantee the first preference, but we do our best to obviously place you in one of your top 3. And then you just apply online. We have a really easy application process online, and then you send us through your supporting documents before the application deadline. The application deadline will be highlighted on our semester exchange page, ready for and what the next round of applications are. We do start this about 12 months in advance, so looking at this in your first year is ideal, even though you can't go until your second. Big question, can you afford it? And yes, you definitely can. There's a lot of funding out there for semester exchange. Every person that goes on a semester exchange through La Trobe Abroad will receive the $2,000 mobility grant. That is the minimum amount that you'll receive to get you there. Then we have a $4,000 strategic mobility scholarship. Now, if money is a motivator, then have a look at our SMS partners. They're the ones that we would like you to go to. So we're offering you more money to do that. I personally, I chose a strategic mobility partner because I wanted the money. And then we have the $7,000 academic mobility scholarship. This is if your WAM, or your weighted average mark for your subjects at La Trobe, is over 85. Once you hit that 85 mark and stay above that, then you're eligible for this scholarship. This is something that we will look at, and if we have a lot of people, obviously we might take it further in the selection criteria, but hey, it's not bad. It's a good motivator to get your grades up, or if your grades are up, to keep them up, because $7,000 does get you a long way. We have a lot of additional funding as well. You'll see here, even for Sheffield Hallam University or East China Normal University, if you want to go there, we will offer some more money. If you're an Aspire student, or you know what, if you bring a friend, this is a really good one actually, because $1,000 for you and $1,000 for your friend, and you have to go to a strategic mobility partner. So you could potentially get $5,000 each to go overseas on exchange. So yeah, look, there's a lot of money here. It is obviously subject to change each year, but we have our program funding and cost page that we keep updated with all the current funding for you. On top of that, well, actually, what I do need to say too, though, sorry, what I should have mentioned is with the funding, let me go back a slide. What you need to know about the funding here too is, say, for example, the $2,000 mobility grant, and your WAM is 85, so you've actually been accepted, you allocated a $7,000 mobility scholarship. You don't get both. We want to share the love and make sure everybody can go. So we don't combine those ones. There are some fundings that are combinable, and the full T&Cs are on our webpage. But if you get the strategic mobility scholarship, you're not going to get the $2,000 mobility grant on top, okay? Just so you know. There is more funding again too, though, for people who would like to go to Asia. New Colombo Plan funding. This is a government initiative, and they really want us to interact and get to know our neighbours and build strong relationships with our neighbouring countries. So the Australian government have put out New Colombo Plan mobility grants. Now, these grants are $7,000 grants to go on a semester exchange to a partner in Asia. Okay. And that's just amazing. You go to one of our partners that we have this funding for, and you can be eligible for $7,000. Okay. And your WAM does not need to be over 85 for this one. It does need to be over 70, but obviously the higher it is, the more chance you have of being successful. There is some restrictions here, age between 18 and 28. However, if you're over 28, like me, there is still some capacity. So don't think you're ruled out just because you might be a little bit older. So not only is there the mobility grants, we also have this really prestigious New Colombo Plan scholarship. I don't know if you would have seen some of our promotions about this over the last 12 months to 18 months. This is where it's a little bit more of a rigorous process, but hey, for up to 67,000, you'd expect it to be. It does include interning, studying, and volunteering anywhere in the Asia Pacific region for up to 19 months here. So this one is a little bit more strict with the age. If you are over 28, I am sorry, like me, we were not able to go for this. But this is really prestigious. So if this is something that interests you and you are in your first year, this is something to start really thinking about now, especially with things like volunteering in the community. There are actions that you can take now to make yourself more desirable for this scholarship later on. So anyway, if you are interested in that, please email us and we can pass you on to our coordinator who does deal with the scholarships. Righty, more government funding. The government does want you to go overseas, and one of the best ways to help you do that is the OS Help Loan. Now, the OS Help Loan is a government interest-free loan. It will be added to your help debt, so you will have to pay it off eventually once you start earning over that threshold. And if you are studying anywhere that is not in Asia, it's up to $7,037. But for anywhere in Asia, again, because the government really wants us to strengthen ties in that region, you can get up to $8,444. And then if you are also studying a language, if you're doing a diploma of languages or you're doing a major in a language, then if it's an Asian language, then there is an additional $1,123 available. This is a lot of money. I admit I did take out the OS Help Loan for both of my programs because you can have it 2 times in your university career. So keep that in mind. It's not just once, you can do twice. If you're doing 2 semester exchanges, you get the OS Help Loan to help you in the 2 semesters. You just can't get the 2 OS Help Loans in one 6-month period. Okay. So anyway, we have the website there. Please look at that up for the T&Cs relating this. Obviously with government, they do have a little bit more T&Cs than we do. One really important thing though, that I almost forgot, with the OS Help Loan, if you are getting to the end of your degree and you do want to go over in your final semester, to get the OS Help Loan, you must have one 15 credit point subject to do when you get back. So maybe consider doing one in the summer. Going overseas in your final semester will delay your graduation anyway. So if that's going to happen and you're comfortable with that, then you might as well do one subject in the summer when you get back, and then you're eligible for the OS Help Loan. Some other benefits for you, Centrelink. If you are a domestic student and you're currently receiving Centrelink, then that will continue during your study period. They won't pay you for any travel before and after, I tried, but they will pay you your Centrelink benefits while you are studying overseas. So that really helps to pay for your bills that you've got at home that you've got to come back to. La Trobe will also cover your travel insurance for 10 days combined before and after your program. So again, if you're looking at doing any travel before or after your program, then it's best to look at your own travel insurance for those periods. I am whizzing through this a little bit, but I would like to, have some question and answer time at the end. And I know this is a lot of information, so thanks for bearing with me. When it comes to costs, obviously there are costs involved. We recommend that you use the table on the screen for budgeting purposes, and we have a little bit of a list of costs there. We will have another session today that is specific to program funding and costs, where I will go into more detail about how much you're looking at to pay out to go, and a little bit more with the funding, and I'll give you an example of my own personal budget. So keep an eye out for that. If you're watching this on demand, it will also be on demand, so you can check it out too. Now we move on to overseas short programs. So these programs are, usually a couple of weeks or up to 8 weeks, and you're using 1 or 2 subject credits. Okay. Going into a bit more detail. So we have internships, clinical placements, virtual programs. We'll go into a lot more about that too, because virtual programs is something that we can do right now while we're waiting for international travel to resume. So our next session will be more in depth on the short programs too. But clinical placements is great for anyone that is in an allied health degree that really doesn't have a lot of scope to go on a semester exchange. There might be one subject that you can use for your placement and still go abroad and be able to get that international experience. Moving on, we also have La Trobe academic-led study tours. This is where an academic will put together a specialised tour for a subject, and they're really great. So that is something that you will need to keep an eye out with your subject coordinators or course coordinators to see if they will come up. Again, won't be for a little while until international travel resumes. We also have partner programs. This is our partner universities that will have summer or winter schools that you can then go and do one subject with them. Some of them are actually being moved online, so we do have that possibility to do now. And then third-party programs. This is one I actually did. So they are academic-based programs through a third-party provider. Someone like CIS Australia, Work the World, and Projects Abroad. So you can do really fun stuff and go to Japan for 2 weeks and run around and enjoy everything and do a little bit of study at the same time. So. Eligibility for short programs, obviously a lot less than it is for a full semester exchange. So all you have to do is be enrolled at La Trobe. Make sure you've got an elective spot or a placement spot that you can use in your study plan for this. And yes, basically everyone is eligible. How to apply? Okay. I'm not going to go through this in too much detail, mostly because without international travel being allowed at the moment, this is not that relevant for the overseas programs. It is still relevant for virtual programs. We can go through this in more detail in our short program presentation. Okay, but it is here. So if you are watching this back on demand, press pause, have a good read through, but the steps are also on our how to apply page. Can you afford it? Again, yes, you can. So short program funding. Obviously, with the programs not being as long as a semester exchange, the funding isn't as large. However, it's still great. The $500 short program mobility grant, for me, I use that as spending money. So that really got me a lot of really cool Japanese food. Whereas if you're going clinical placements or partner university programs, there is a little bit more money there. And again, for internships, those ones like internships tend to be a little bit longer than just 2 weeks. So there is a little bit more money there for you. Again, if you're an Aspire student or a VC scholarship recipient, there is a little bit of extra funding for you too. Now moving on, I didn't have it in the slide there. However, with your short programs, OS Help Loan is available for those as well. So it's not just for semester exchange. If you want to use one for your semester exchange like I did, and I used one for my short program. So the 2 OS helplines will help you cover those costs. ISEP. So this is more for exchange. Or they do also have some short programs as well. But for exchange, if there's a partner that you want to go to in a destination that we don't have, then ISEP probably will. So it's really good to have a look at them. They're a little bit more structured in the way that you pay up front your meals and accommodation, and it's all pre-arranged for you. It's a little bit more structured that way, but you will still continue to pay your La Trobe tuition fees as you do now. Okay. And like I said, so there are some short programs available. At the moment, there's actually one coming up over summer that you can take a look at. Okay, Global Lounge. The Global Lounge is our main resource of information for you. So not only do we have the website where you will find all the information on our sessions, watch videos on demand, links to everything that we have that you might find useful when planning these programs. You'll also be able to make an appointment to speak with us. At the moment, we are doing virtual Zoom and phone calls. When we are on campus, and we do have the ability to meet in person when restrictions do allow. So please check that out. It does have a lot of really great resources. All right, we're almost there. Thank you for staying with me. So our LMS module, this is a great another source of information. It's La Trobe Abroad, the Global Student Experience. Just search for that in LMS and enroll yourself. What's really cool about this module is that map I showed you before with the partners is actually an interactive map. So on our LMS, you can actually click on the little dots and see who the partner is and get a link to their partner page. So rather than just trying to figure out who's where or how far is this one from London, you can actually look at the map and it'll show you. We've got some really good student stories and student videos and photos. So all of those inspirational aspects are on our LMS module. So please check them out. It is a really good time. Finally, now moving on to connect with us. We do have this information on the Global Lounge page, but I have the slide here for you as well. The QR code there will take you to our website straight up. So if you do have your phone out and you want to be able to QR that at the moment, there is no check-in, don't worry, it's just taking you straight to our website. If you are a current student, just head to Ask La Trobe Online Inquiry to put an inquiry in to contact us. You can make an appointment via the Career Hub. Facebook and Instagram, we have our socials there as well. This is just a how to book on Career Hub. When you go in, please make sure when you go to the appointments tab, you want to select La Trobe Abroad as the advisor. You want to select the Global Lounge, and then you can pick a date and time that suits you. Let us know if you want a Zoom one or if you'd like us to call you at this point. And you can pop in notes there. Look, if you can pop in some notes about what you want, we can potentially do a little bit of research before we meet with you as well. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you sort of hanging out with me for this long. I know it's a lot of information, but yeah, this will be on demand later to watch. But again, thank you for coming.